If you are in your 40s or really any age and struggling with your cycle, your hormones, this video is for you. When I was younger, I definitely wasn't as diligent with my supplements, my diet, and things that really make all the difference in the world. Today, I'm going to take you through things that I do as a 42-year-old mom to keep my hormones in check and everything else that goes along with that. My name is JoAnna Pallante. I'm a mom with a passion for holistic living. I want to share with you today exactly how I found balance after pregnancy. So I had my first daughter at 39 years old, and it took me, I would say, about 6 months to really get back to feeling like myself. And obviously after pregnancy, your body is going through so many changes. So I also happened to breastfeed for 3 months. So I think that set me back a little bit. It was definitely worth it. I'll talk about that in other videos. But as far as balancing out my hormones and getting my body back on track to where it was pre-pregnancy, it took me about 6 months. And once I got to this place, I honestly feel better than ever. I'm in the gym operating at maximum performance 7 days a week. I wake up feeling good. I really struggled for a little bit postpartum, which I'm sure if you're a mom, you've been there before. But where I'm at right now is just such a good place. So I want to share with you some of my day-to-day things and supplements I take to help me feel like the best version of myself, keep my metabolism as good as I can, and also just keep my cycle really regular, which I think just translates to all other aspects of your life. I know a lot of women struggle with anything from acne, weight gain, irregular cycles, and they're like, how do I fix it? And I am no doctor, but I think whatever formula I'm following now has been working really, really well for me. So here's some of the things that I think are absolute game changers. Number one, I found a supplement. It's by a brand called, I think it's Perello. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's what it looks like. They had sent me some prenatal vitamins, and then I discovered them as a brand and realized that they're really dialed into prenatal women's cycles. They're formulated by doctors. So I think that this is a brand that you can trust. I am not paid or sponsored by them in any way, but I found this supplement and some of the things, I'll just read to you. It says that it's for women looking to balance their hormones. So they had me at that. It's supposed to help support regular cycles and weight management. Great. And it's just basically a supplement that you take morning and night. I make sure to especially take this around my cycle because I know the few days before my cycle, I tend to definitely feel imbalanced. I feel bloated. So this is one of the things that I do, especially around that time of the month. So I'll link these supplements below. You may also want to check out their vitamins because I think that they definitely are ahead of the curve as far as being formulated specifically for women that, might be interested in stuff like this. I think another thing that's really important is obviously eating a clean diet, and everybody talks about this, but implementing it in your life. One of the big changes that I've made recently is trying to avoid foods that will spike your glucose and your levels. You want to have a balanced meal, right? So in the morning, I try to eat eggs, maybe with one piece of toast, avocado, turkey bacon, things like that. So you're not just going and having like a croissant or something, which I indulge in from time to time. Don't get me wrong. I love them as much as anyone, but really balancing out that first meal of the day and getting yourself on track, feeling good with a good big meal and avoiding eating late at night. So my hardcore cutoff for dinners and socializing with friends is 6:30. If you don't want to have dinner with me at 6:30, the chances are I'm probably going to have to pass on having dinner at this point. I go to bed at 9:30. Sleep is super important. I can't stress this enough. And some days life just gets in the way of that, and it happens to the best of us. But whenever possible, I try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And the only way I'm going to hit that at this phase in life is by going to bed at 9:30 to 10 p.m. I try to cut my phone usage and screens. I really barely get to watch TV these days, which kind of stinks because there's a lot of shows that I'd love to catch up on, but I try to just avoid screen time at least an hour before bed and get into a good state of relaxation, because as soon as I start to slack on the sleep, then I feel like everything else kind of falls by the wayside, right? So get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep whenever possible. So these are definitely, I would say, 3 of the most important things: the supplements, the food, and the sleep. And then when you start to really examine, the full picture of what might be not working out well for you at different points in time. What I would recommend is lab testing. I did this earlier this year. I felt like my body might be deficient in some things, so I went over to LabCorp. There's another company that my friend recommended where they'll come to your house and run these sort of tests as well. I can link that in the description for you as well. But I think it's really important that you go to your doctor for an annual physical exam or do some kind of routine lab testing. You could tell the doctor to add on specific tests, but I'm always looking at my vitamin D, my thyroid levels. Recently, I've started looking at iodine and selenium. If you come up deficient in any of these, just supplement with them, right? Certain foods can get you there. I personally like to eat fish, but I probably don't eat enough of it. So for the iodine and the selenium, I've tried to add some shrimp and things like that I like into my diet. And I think that you can really balance out your hormones, keep your thyroid in check, and just be mindful of all of these things and find balance. So if you are struggling in this arena, feel free to reach out to me. I have a coaching program as well as guides on all of my fitness and wellness routines. Another thing that I think some people have different opinions on, but I personally love, is sauna and cold plunge. So if you have access to one, I do this probably 5 days a week. There is some conflicting information out there. Like I saw some video that Mel Robbins put out with someone that said women shouldn't do cold plunge. And I think that when it comes to decisions like that, you need to do what's best for you. I don't think that a cold plunge affects my hormones in an adverse way or my cycles or anything like that. But there is research out there that indicates maybe they're not the best thing for women. But for me, I start every morning with a 10-minute sauna. There's a ton of research that will back up the benefits of doing a dry sauna or a sauna that, an infrared sauna, whatever one you may have access to. I think if you can get into the sauna and do some detox through that as well, that's always great. I do a cold plunge at about 40 degrees for 2 to 3 minutes every morning. It just really gets my body going to prep me for the workout that I do every day. So I try to really work out 7 days a week. If that's not feasible for you, at the bare minimum, try to get your steps in, integrate movement, no matter how you can, right? There's always ways that you can just kind of give yourself an exercise boost, even if you have children like I do. Like I used to bring my daughter to the gym with me or strap her on me and go for walks. So do whatever you need to do to really get your body moving every day. I like to get out there and be in sunshine and get daylight in my eyes whenever possible. I'm fortunate because I live in Los Angeles, so it's pretty much sunny every day here. But I think all of these things will help your circadian rhythm, your hormonal balances, and just your overall wellness. So those are just some of my best practices. If you want to dive further, reach out to me, let me know, book a call. I'm here to help. If there's anything I'm missing here, feel free to chime in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm always looking for ways to optimize my health. So if there's something that I didn't cover but has really helped you, feel free to share it and help me grow my community. If you are interested in more information about how I optimize my morning, I've really figured out the way to, like I said, hit that 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night, wake up at 5:30 feeling my best. I never used to be a morning person, but at this phase, I've got some best practices that you can follow at home. And make sure to check out the video that I have linked here. It'll take you through the way I optimize my morning as a working 42-year-old toddler mom.